I came to the USA as an F-1 international student back in 2014. During my time, I was really lost at first and came here with nothing. Over the last few years, I built my business from scratch, and when it was time to get my work visa, there was no lottery, no waiting, no luck involved. In this video, I'm going to talk about the O-1B visa, the path which I took that most international students don't know exists. I'm going to show you the exact portfolio strategy I used, the mistakes I almost made that could have gotten my application denied, and why I wish I started this process earlier. But first, let me tell you why I even needed this. I came to the USA in 2014. I was at Western Kentucky University for 2 semesters back at Kentucky, and then I was studying international business, and then I moved to New York, and my major was computer information system. And during those time, I fell in love with taking pictures, and there was a time I called my family like, hey, can I pursue photography? And they were like, no, you can't pursue that. Study computer science because it's much more safer. And I don't blame my parents, because if I was in their shoes, I'd probably tell the same to my kid. But at the end of the day, I happened to fall in love taking pictures, and I just did that as a hobby. And from that hobby, it became a business. I did my bachelor's from Baruch College, and it was CIS. I was 18 when I came here, and I was very lost and depressed, but I knew that I wanted to build something here, and I really wanted to be my own boss. That's where, as I mentioned earlier, I got into taking pictures, and that's where I started my Urban Shots, my own company, while I was still in school. By the time I did my graduation, I had clients, I had a business, but I had a problem. The problem was that F-1 visa doesn't let you work full-time for your own company. You need a work visa. And my major was CIS. For that, I had to work for a company under my major, and the easiest way would be to get a H-1B visa and stay in the US. But H-1B is a lottery. Literally less than 30% of the applicants get selected. And if you're a creative, a photographer, filmmaker, designer, most companies won't even sponsor you. That's the reality. I had 2 choices: go back home or find another way. And back in 2014, one of my friends told me about this visa called O-1B visa. And like most people, I wasn't even aware of this visa. I always thought that H-1B was the only way for me to stay in the country, where I had to work for a company and the company is going to sponsor me. I just wanted to tell more about the O-1B visa. So O-1B is for people with extraordinary ability in arts, film, business, and athletics. It's a self-sponsored visa. You don't need a company to back you. You just need to prove you're in the top of your field. And that's the best part. I was working for myself. I had a lot of brands whom I have worked previously, and I felt like I could apply for this O-1B and I might qualify. And the best thing is, you don't have to be world famous. You just have to meet the criteria. I looked at the requirements and I realized I might actually qualify, and that was the feeling I got, and I was so pumped. I went to Google and I started doing my research on my own visa, what are the process and stuff, and then I realized it's a lot of requirements, a lot of documents needed, and I just felt like for a moment that I could file for myself, but I really didn't want to take the risk, for which I did some research on immigration attorney, and I came across this immigration law firm which is named Yao Law Group, and then I decided to get in touch with them, and I had a call with them. They gave me a checklist and walked me through the entire process. Based on the first call I had with them, they gave me a positive feedback that I qualify for the O-1B visa because my portfolio was very strong. I had shot for Lululemon, Converse, Equinox. I had few press features in magazines, and also I had a good social media following. All of that which really counted and also made my case very strong. Now it was time for paperwork. So for the process, I had to submit 8 letters of recommendations from people in my industry who could vouch for my work. So for that, I had to come up with strong candidates who are really well known, and from brand directors to fellow creatives, clients who have worked in the past. And I reached out to them telling my current status in the US and if they could write a letter of recommendation for me. These letters weren't just Pranto is great or his work is amazing. They're very specific. For every letter of recommendation, the people I put in their name, I had to show the project I have worked previously, what was the result, for how long I have worked, screenshots of email communication or text communication. This letter of recommendations were reference projects which showed impact. They proved that I was operating at a high level and I qualify under the O-1B visa. In regards to the timeline and cost, the whole process took around 6 months. The cost, it was almost close to $10,000. I did file for premium processing, which was around $2,500. This was back in 2024. The premium processing gets you fastest decision in 2 weeks, and the rest of the fees are attorney fees and filing fees. I know that $10,000 sounds like a lot, but compare that to the uncertainty of H-1B visa or the cost of living the US and starting over back in my home country. I just felt like it was worth every single dollar. And I didn't hesitate. I went for it because it was an investment I was making for myself. I submitted everything in early 2024 and then I waited. During the filing status, there was a lot of communication with me and my attorney. I had few Zoom calls with them and the process took slightly a little longer because I had to wait to get my reference letters from all those talents and creatives I requested for, and that took time. And on July 1st, I submitted my application to the USCIS. As I said earlier, I went for the premium processing fee, and on July 18th, I opened my email and then I see that I was approved for the O-1B visa. I'm not gonna lie, I broke down. This was a very big moment for me, and I haven't really gone back home. It's been 12 years and it's been a journey. And looking back at all those struggles and all those sleepless nights, a lot of doubts on myself, missing my family, being lonely when I moved here to the US, everything played a big part. As I said previously, I came here with nothing, no support system, no backup plan, just believe in myself. And for the first time since I landed in this country, I didn't have to look over my shoulder anymore. The reason I'm sharing this stuff to you is because that's the reality of coming to the US. In my opinion, I feel like you have to make some sacrifice at one point. And most importantly, you really have to believe in your journey and really trust the process. The O-1B visa gave me 3 years of stability and I can renew every year when the visa expires. Here's what I wish I knew earlier. You don't need to be world-class famous. You just need to be in the top of your field. If you have worked with brands, won awards, been featured in magazines, and if you have built a portfolio, there's a big chances that you might qualify. I would urge you to start building your case early if you're an artist. Even if you are still on F-1 or OPT, start documenting your wins. Every client, every feature, every project, it all counts. For me, whenever I work with clients, I always used to take behind the scenes stuff. And that behind the scenes stuff, when I applied my application, I put it on my projects just to show that proof that I was the one who was doing the work. So document your journey. That's probably the most important thing. And when you come here, you're all by yourself, you know, that extra small push to document your behind the scene things like that will have a big impact when you apply for the O-1B visa. And looking back, I feel like I wish I started this process earlier. It was a lot of self-doubt, not really knowing what is O-1B, and I spent so much time stressing about my H-1B when O-1B was always a better path for me as a creative. In my journey so far, there has been a lot of path I took which was very uncertain, and I still kept going because I felt like there is something in me and I just have to keep showing up. But here's the real lesson I have learned. The visa wasn't just paperwork, it was proof that I have built something real over the years here in the US. Proof that the years of grinding, sleeping in shared apartments, working weekends when my friends used to come and tell me to hang out, it all led to somewhere. And that's the best part. All the struggles I have done, it has paid off big way. If you're an international student, you know what I'm talking about. You came here with a dream, you're building something, and the system makes you feel like you're one lottery away from losing it all. And that O-1B gave me that control. And if you're a creative, that might be your path too. If you're an international student building a creative business, drop your biggest visa concern in the comments. I read every single one of them. Don't wait for permission, build your own path. That's all for today. I just wanted to take the time to share how I got my O-1B visa. And I know deep inside that this video is gonna help people out there who are looking at the O-1B visa. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.